What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Tape Never Lies pregame show. I'm Ivan Vargas. Of course, I got my man, Big Steve Edwards, with me. Big Steve, how you doing this Sunday?
Oh man, I'm doing quite all right. Before we came on, I was just about to. It was time to go time. I
Right.
was just about to explain my voice being gone. Uh, but it's much better today because last night I tell you I was like I don't know if I'm looking ahead to the bear down on Monday. I'm like shoot the way this is going, but it's slowly coming back. Good enough to do the pregame though.
Right. Well, I'm happy you're here with me. I'm glad your voice is good enough to get there. Hopefully, like I said, like I told you pregame, on the text, get some tea, get some lemon in there, put some bourbon. There you go. See, he already see we work so well together. Steve knows what's going on. So that's what it is. So
I
I'm
just
glad.
gotta add this is gonna be by itself, and then later on I'm gonna have a little hot toddy,
Oh,
so
there we.
be plenty in my system. So yeah, I don't have work tomorrow because took a vacation day. I got a Bears appearance, so
Okay.
yeah, so this another little bit of day of recovery and got the then that gives me a little extra time to prepare for the bear down and whatever the results of this game are. But yeah, man, it's gonna be hopefully a nice day. A very quiet morning, I would say, NFL kind of watching these games and you know,
Mhm.
kind of just anticipating what's this gonna look like today
Right.
for the Bears.
Right. And I was talking to Phil yesterday, white Phil, not black Phil. I was talking to white Phil yesterday, and I was telling him, I was like, I'm not gonna get over this until three, whatever it is, kickoff. Until that ball's in the air, I'm not over it. And to be honest with you, the national media isn't over it either, Steve. Like all morning, I'll tell you this, it was making me sick to myself. I had to like look away every single time because they're still showing the fucking play, the Hail Mary, and then they're breaking it down on NFL Network. They're breaking it down with kids, and I'm like, oh my god, they're breaking it down with little kids on how to guard a Hail Mary. Like that doesn't look good. That's not a good look at all. I mean, any way you look at it, it's like fuck, man. Like, come on now, you breaking this down
uh,
with kids. Don't do me like that. Don't do us like that. But
for
you
just
know, yeah.
yeah, just to
Go
go
ahead.
off what you say, man, just we have become the blueprint of what not to do and how to work a situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Our this tape from the Bears will live on forever as what not to do and how to handle that situation on all levels. Um, Particularly, when you get to high school level, you're able to launch Hail Marys probably at that in that point. Definitely college, definitely, in the NFL and any other league, professional league. Just you got to be able to play that scenario way better than that. And we become, what you would think was pretty standard. Now there's another level we have shown how not to do it. But to go to the fact that everybody's talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how long it was going to take me. You know what I mean? To feel different about things, or and like you said, Ivan, I feel like it's not going to be erased until we start that game, until this game starts, and that's why that's my probably my biggest anticipation. Let's get this game started so I can somewhat forget about last week.
Exactly. And it's gonna linger. Like I said, it will linger until the kickoff. And we got another thing, still that's lingering, and it's a situation with Tyrique Stevenson. So there's been a report. I mean, there's been multiple reports, and I'll shout out our guy right here, Kyle Gordon. He gives us some perspective here about the situation. So I'll read it for you. Just a note of perspective. Courtney Cronin reports that Stevenson left the walkthrough after stretching before anything had started for a few minutes to calculate himself. And he also goes on to say, I like players who care. This isn't as if he quit on the team. This is his perspective now. And left. He just needed a minute. The press is going to run away with this and distort it, and in a distorted way. Okay, like, and I could hear what he's saying there. I understand what he's saying. Now let's go ahead and listen to Jay Glazer and when he's reporting it, because with that context, and I appreciate the context, there's still a little bit more to be added with how the rest of the team felt about that response from Tyrique.
As that Hail Mary play was set up, they lost the game. He tipped the ball to the receiver who caught it in the end. Has there been any fallout with him and the Bears?
Oh, yeah. And Stray's talking about it under his breath because that's what's going on in that Bears locker room. So here's the deal. They're benching him today. He's being demoted. He's not starting. But on Wednesday, when he found out he wasn't starting, he actually pulled himself out of practice. That didn't exactly go over great inside that locker room. We talked about Anthony Richardson getting his teammates' trust back. Same for Tyrique Stevenson.
So, like I said, the inside the locker room, right? We're talking about his teammates now, and I understand the perspective that we got, but his teammates, Kyle, they're kind of upset with that because to me, your teammates, the leadership group already had addressed you, and you talked to your coaches, you've done all this, you've done the things right with apologizing and whatnot. You still have to be held accountable, and you should have known this is coming. It shouldn't have been a thing where you needed to take a break and take a second to recalculate your thoughts. You should have been you should have eaten it and went back and just continued practicing, in my eyes. Now, he's a young player. He's still got to grow up. But how do you feel, Steve? How do you feel about the reaction from Tyler?
Well, to hear that and then to hear the other's perspective, like obviously, coming from Glazer, that it sounded like at practice, and then we hear from Kyle Gordon that it was in the stretch line. It doesn't matter to me. I think that you knew that some kind of action was going to happen. You should have expected it, that it could happen, and you just got to own up. And it comes down to owning up to your mishaps. Now, you gave an apology and all that. That goes to show you a little. I just, not to look too much into it, but I got to. That, there's a little selfishness there. You can apologize and do all that. That really didn't mean anything. That the fact that you got demoted and you took that and you needed time to walk away from the practice field, cause a scene, cause another distraction to your team that's already dealing with things. And dealing with this very chaotic and detrimental loss, and you have to make it about yourself instead of kind of even if you have emotions, you internalize that and you deal with it somehow while you're out there, not walk away and I have to get myself together. You did what you did. The repercussions should come, but then it glares a bigger light on, is that the culture around there? Has there been enough accountability in the building for when people have done things, maybe things we haven't heard about, or just the consequences for your play? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Where's the consequences for your play? So like this was such a big new thing that come down that you're the first player to take it did not even just be the first player, but the extent you did this, like you weren't expecting anything. So that lets me know if you were in Pittsburgh's locker room and Mike Tomlin, you did this, you would probably be like, yeah, I'm sitting on the bench because I already know how Coach Tomlin is going to get down. You know what I mean? Or I probably have already been told, come Monday or Tuesday that I don't know when this was delivered. See, the thing is, was this delivered? This would bring some bigger light. Was it delivered right before he got on the field?
Right.
Because if it was delivered right before the field, why did he just, did they come up to him while he was in the stretch line? Which I think it was kind of strange. I think that would have been like, hey, come have a sit-down meeting with me, right? So I think there's a little bit more information that I need to hear. Not taking away that Tyrique, however he handled it was wrong. Even if he heard it right on the field, it was wrong.
Do you
deal with that way? But like in what I know in that situation, they've sat down and told him already, not like literally right before practice or on the field or anything like that. So I would think he would have heard that by Tuesday. And why did it take so long if he did hear it right before the field? Why was this a decision you had to think and mull over? And so it's so many different ways to look into it. Bottom line, leaving the field, regardless of when the message was delivered, was a poor thing, and it was a poor response. And it's starting to be a big tell of a guy who's has a lot of talent in Stevenson. That is some bigger issues going on there, and there's bigger issues with your coaching staff and your leadership.
Speaking of the coaching staff, do you feel as if Tyrique Stevenson expected to start? Because of the reaction and because of him knowing this coaching staff and being drafted by this regime and being, acclimated to how things work, do you think in his mind he did enough to go ahead and be like, all right, you're good, you could go ahead and start?
No. I mean, like I said, if this message was delivered right literally before he went to the practice field, no, I think he definitely shouldn't. He probably in his mind, he probably did. That's what's probably been allowed.
Right.
That's what's been allowed. There's been things you get away with in that building that we haven't probably seen everything, but we've seen performances where certain people, we had to go really back and start looking at a lot of different scenarios. But I'm sure this has been, now it looks at glaring light. Things have been let go. And you, for the fact that you screwed up in that capacity, you think you're going to be able to still start is ridiculous.
I would have immediately addressed what was going to happen. And like you said, Steve, nobody knew what the fuck was going on. They keep, I get understanding keeping things in house, but that guy's a starter. He made a critical error that cost you a game, that potentially cost you a game. And in a lot of minds, there was a lot of other plays that cost you the fucking game. But that was one of the biggest ones, glaring ones, because of what he did prior to the snap, during the snap, and while the ball was in the air. Like, how can a player or a coaching staff not have an understanding of how they're going to deal with the player until midweek? That to me, Steve, that goes to show that there's no cohesiveness between the players and the coaches right now, that there's no understanding of who's doing what or what the standard is. Like, I think there's a miscommunication about what the standard is in Hallis Hall, because if there's no consequences to egregious actions, then what the fuck are we doing? Then there's no such thing as accountability. Accountability can't live in that locker room if you're not going to hold somebody to a standard after something like that.
Well, let's look at the accountability portion of it. Your own coach sat there and took no responsibility, no ownership of his decisions. There's one thing to stand by your coaching, but it's one thing to be like, hey, I played this scenario wrong. You royally played those scenarios wrong at the end of the game. Oh, we didn't need a timeout. Are you freaking kidding me? That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And that the fact, and I when it comes to the Bears, I try to control my national TV watching, you know what I mean? Because I think there's so many great, there's some good entities in-house in Chicago, us being one of them, TTNL. But when I watched Rex Ryan and Arlovsky and Damian Woody, that was one that I paid attention to, because there's some experience right there, and it was a genuine response to are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. And the only way I looked at it was like, here's some professional guys looking at this coach saying, and just one of the most ridiculous things to come out of a coach's mouth, of no ownability. It doesn't matter that you gave a tweet. So there's no accountability. So that how do you expect? And it's crazy that Stevenson, the two people, there's really no, you can put the words in and type apology or get up in front of people. It's all about your actions following. And I think him taking away from practice, making a scene, making it about himself once again, regardless of how you are in your feelings, because there's a lot of feelings got hurt that day. There's a lot of your teammates' feelings that were devastated that day, that fought hard to get back in that game, and then you got a demotion and you decided to take your feelings into account once again in like in your out of control behavior. So there's all kinds of wrong in that. It is sad to see a guy like that. You always hope that he can rebound, but this is not a good start. Like to trying to regain your position. Now this report comes out today. Just really poor. The leadership in that building has become very clear. It's crazy how all of a sudden this one incident can really show and put a magnifying glass on what's going on in that building as far as the coach is concerned, and that leadership, is very poor, and it is borderline. I think it is borderline based on how you heard players respond and how players are saying what they want, and it's opposite than what your head coach is saying. And you're looking at your players and like they're saying it right, but the coaches are saying it wrong. I think you're starting to see in some of these little clips, like Jalen Johnson. He's still. I think it was a report. He's kind of said it in 670s, like he's still the head coach. So I think I forget how they phrased it, but basically
they asked him if he's still. I believe it, and I might be paraphrasing, but the gist of the question was, do you still have confidence in him as the head coach, or do you still have confidence in him like in general, or something to that effect? And he responded like you had said, he's still the head coach.
Yeah, it was that I'm gonna tell you, there's no way to look through it. They're just kind of blah on the guy. They're blah on the guy, and as much as you can like somebody in that locker room, it can go south, because at the end of the day, players want to win. Players want to get in a winning situation to not only be playing in the playoff level, but it's about your profile. You know what I mean? You only got so many years to play in this game. You want to do it from a competitive sense. You want to be in it when it counts. There's extra money included, but also it puts you on the spotlight to allow you to go earn more money, off the field money, endorsements, another contract. So when you're in this, and then in a game like that, you're in the prime time. It allows a lot of different things, and it's just, but the bottom line is winning, and this coach is proving that he can't get it done for you guys. You get on the road, you fought your ass off, and this is the responses that you get. And so his shit is laying flat to these players. And if shit continues to go downhill as far as losses are concerned, he will lose this locker room, and it will be apparent, because we see little glimpses of it this week.
If we have another loss, Steve, in my eyes, all right, I'll say this: if we have another loss like we did in Washington, and I don't care what part of the year, God forbid it's this week, but whatever part of the season. Can there be action? Can the Bears actually? Do you believe that the Bears are going to take action then? Like, I mean, a full collapse, because those 4 losses that we talk about, the percentage, the winning percentage, and the amount of mistakes that had to be made in order to give the other team the win were so egregious that each and every time we were talking about Eberflus getting fired. And if he has another one in this season, I don't see how the Bears can continue to walk up to the podium and say, hey, he's going to be our head coach regardless. Like, you can go ahead and promote Eric Washington to head coach. You can do something. But if his mistakes and his inability to manage a football game cost us another game, I don't know how else to respond but to fire the man.
Yeah, I think the Bears would be under, as an organization, would be under an extreme amount of heat if that were to happen. And I know we're not an organization that has fired anybody mid-season or in the season, but I think we will be in the unprecedented territory with the amount of talent we have on this team and the trajectory that we were projected to be on heading into this season. Getting you're finally getting your quarterback and surrounding him with talent, and all the talent, all the talent on defense. I think it would just really be a bad look if this were to happen. Another blunder, another mishandling, another stretch, even a stretch of losing games. I think it warrants that you have to move on and make it you have to do things that are different. We did Hard Knocks, and a lot of people said it wasn't, it was tuckered up, and nice and pent up type of Hard Knocks, no cursing and no wilding out, but I think as an organization, Bears organization, they may have to move forward and do something they haven't done to show that, hey, we are on a different wavelength now. We brought in Kevin Warren, and we have polls, and we try to show we're doing things different on the football side of things. If this were to keep free falling and another blunder were to happen, you will have to make a move within house and start preparing for your plan for the following year.
Yeah, it's sad to say, because the best thing for the Bears is for this coaching staff to figure it out and to figure out how to win games, because of the development of Caleb Williams, because of how the defense has been playing, how well they've been playing. And Matt Eberflus is a part of that, but you cannot look past the glaring mistakes, the giant red flags, that have come from these such losses. You're supposed to be nailing down these. You're supposed to, while you're developing these players, they're supposed to be learning how to nail down games. And if your coach doesn't even know how to do that, how well do you think their mentality is when it comes crunch time, fourth quarter? We got to put these motherfuckers away. Where do you think their head's going to be at?
Yeah, I mean, it's just you got to send a clear message, man. And this will be my last youth football comparison of the year, guys. My little 8 to 10-year-olds, we played in our Pee Wee Bowl game yesterday. So we had 2 weeks to prepare, So I did everything in those 2 weeks to prepare for this one game. And I like my chances versus some other guy who doesn't coach football. You know what I mean? All based on my players' response, you know what I mean? So based on my little kids, they worked their butts off. We got physical. I got on their butts. You know what I mean? Right. And their effort and their focus was there like no other. Even to my older kids, they were old. They were better focused than my older kids. We went to the game, man, and we put on a very good performance and had a good game plan. But one thing that happened, one of my kids hit a kid and stood over and flexed. And I said, out.
Yeah.
Out. And, and we were leading pretty handfully at that point. And it's the last game. But it's a kid I'm going to have around my program for another 3-4 years if I'm still there, but he's going to be around. But also my influence, and hey, that's not acceptable. That's not it. And this is not what I have in my culture.
A standard, Steve? You mean you set a standard? Like maybe, exactly.
Yeah.
And I love it. You set a standard as a head coach.
Yeah, you got to have that. And I'm just saying, it's even on a youth, like you got to have it. You have to have your standard of how you operate and how things get done. And there seems to be no concrete standard. There seems nothing like he is standing on anything. And this adds to curiosity. I don't know what to expect today. I don't know what we're going to get. I want to see, a Bears win. I don't want to see us fold the 10 up so we can get Eberflus out of here. The perfect scenario is this guy figures it out as a leader, and we can keep building instead of having to tear it back down. But it is some sexy head coaches out there that I think, regardless, and some people are like scared to start over. Like, I would love it to work. I would love them to turn it around, because our goal is to make the playoffs, right? We want to see our team in the playoffs this year and make some noise. But if they ain't gonna happen, man, there's some really sexy guys out there, man. The coaches that I think could come in here and do some wonders. And I'm not scared to start over. Some people like, what are you scared of? You just going into this narrative of that we're like scared to make moves and do big boy moves that most organizations do to get things right.
Mhm.
But I want to see the Bears come out and win. I want to see what they're going to respond. Our backs against the wall, and I know we're going to talk about injuries, but it's going to be interesting today because we're an undermanned team today.
No, I agree. And looking at the Cardinals, they're I know we're down a bunch in the secondary. We're also down Montez Sweat. I had that. I had the. Let me go ahead and download that real quick. We're down a few guys, but what I was going to say is that the amount of pressure that we can generate on this football team is key, and how to keep Kyler Gore and keeping Kyler Murray in the backfield or in the pocket is crucial, because the Cardinals aren't great at passing the football. They're in the bottom half of the league right now at throwing the football. My fear is, again, is the ability of him to get outside of the pocket and to extend drives, to pick up first downs with his legs. That's something that scares me. That's something that the Bears need to focus on today.
Yeah. Montez Sweat being out, that's going to hurt. Yeah, we're just going to, defensively, we've strung this team out so long. So offensively is where I'm looking at it. Obviously, on the O-line, we kind of banged up. We talk about the left tackle being a situation here. But, this offense is going to have to step up something that's been struggling. We need them to be early and often. Like, not – and I've been stressing these first two drives and getting points out of them. We need to get a quick start offensively and sustain it through 4 quarters. And we need to do it today. And it has to be today, because this defense, we have to support them. Like, injuries happen, but I feel like our defense has hold us together all year, and we're getting a little banged up. And I don't know if it's a product of having to be on the field so darn much, but it is what it is. We need to support them, and we need to be the ones on offense. I'm saying I'm offensive linemen, but we offensive line in the offense need to get it going. They need to get this. They have to step their game up, and that means Caleb. But it starts with the coaching. I'm going to go with that first. The coaching staff, what have game plan? What mindset do they have, these guys? You in this situation, I've never been around too many situations where coaching staff is seemingly kind of losing the locker room. You better be having a solid ass game plan. You should have been in there. You should be burning the midnight oil to try to figure this thing out. This is when, I know coaches nowadays, they leave and go home a lot early. They don't do that old school stuff. But this is the week that you exhaust everything you got to figure out and come up with a great plan, personnel wise, game plan wise, adjustments, to make sure you got everything in order to figure this thing out. Obviously, you couldn't do it with 2 weeks off. You better do it this week, because I think the criticism is going to do nothing but build up. And what other way to get things right is to win a tough game on the road and come back to Chicago against New England. And then, you win the second game. Obviously, we know what the daunting task after that, but if you're able to string that and come back home and get a good win, now you're feeling a little bit better. You're feeling a little bit better. Not great, but you're feeling a little bit better going into these divisional games based on what happened last week. So it's important that they win this game, no doubt.
Yeah, and just for everybody, the inactives today: Kyler Gordon, Khalil Herbert, Kyron Amagaji, Montez Sweat, Jaquan Brisker, Braxton Jones, Byron Cowart. So those are the inactives for today. We're going to be out without Montez, but next man up, Steve. Austin Booker is to me that would be the next guy, next man up, the rookie.
Yeah, and that's the guy who should have been on the field on that last Hail Mary play. Once again, we bring that shit right up again. He should have been on the field. His athleticism is going to be something very key to keeping. You saw what Montez Sweat was able to do. Now, I don't want him taking the inside like Montez Sweat was able to do and then cut up. They kept on calling that out in the game, but Montez Sweat was that special to rip underneath, almost giving up contain and then reestablish containment. It was like, this dude is awesome. And I said he was my pick to click on keeping it 100, where I said 4 sacks, but he regardless of the 4 sacks, that dude had a major impact in that game. So Austin Booker has to keep containment. He can't get into any rookie foolishness where he's doing that same thing that Montez did, dipping inside and then reestablishing the outside contain. He needs to get containment from the get-go. And I think we got athletic dudes that can help us do that. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be tough, man. Kyler Murray's playing some good ball. They got some dangerous receivers. Marvin Harrison Jr. To be exact, you got James Conner. There's some threats on this team, and defensively, they're not shabby at all. You know what I mean? And it's Arizona. We can quickly turn that place into our home. Everybody in Chicago damn near lives out there, and everybody's traveled out there. What a great road game to go to get a little nice weather this time of year. We can quickly turn that place into our home base, but it could quickly turn bad as well. So I think that we got to come out, man, firing on all cylinders, man. We got to be quick. We got to take some shots down the field. Eberflus, Waldron, where are you on? Where the fuck are you? That's next one. Like that after we piled up on Eberflus, Shayne Waldron, where are you on today? What is your plan of attack?
The plan of attack, like in you're 100%, Steve. It will always be, and I know it sounds crazy, but it would always be run to pass forever. It will always be run to pass. And I don't care how you line it up, but just make sure the running back is getting the fucking touches, because play action with Caleb Williams is deadly. It can be deadly. But if you don't establish a running game, if you neglect your running backs, if you disrespect your running backs like he did last weekend, and I hate the fact that motherfucker doubled down on giving the ball to his offensive lineman, but that's neither here nor there at this point. If you can get past yourself and start feeding, these running backs some more, start feeding both of them. You got a lightning, a thunder and lightning combo, I feel like, with Swift and with Roschon. If you were able to understand how to use them, play action would come, and then here comes the big plays down the field for Caleb Williams. Here comes the protection looking better for Caleb Williams, because people are threatened by the run, not the pass, and they're going to have to go ahead and protect that. That's my philosophy. I don't think Shayne Waldron's even there.
Yeah. It's going to come down to that old line. And, obviously left tackle, Amagaje is out, Braxton Jones is out. And you said Borum is up, right? He's going to be left tackle?
He will be the left tackle, yep.
Okay. Obviously not the I think he's had a couple weeks of practicing and getting down, but it's that game shape. So we're obviously looking for rust. We're looking for what's that conditioning, what's that stamina going to be looking like. So, but at the same thing, this is the beauty about it. When you lose 2 left tackles and you got a guy sitting there who's got starts in this league, you talk about where there's depth. And I'll give Bears credit. We've been able to answer a lot of these things with our depth. So we are in a good spot. It's not like we got some guy we never heard about. You know what I mean? So You know, is he a world beater? But like, he's got starts, he's got experience, and obviously he's coming off of injury, being on injury reserve. So those are the things I'm gonna be looking for. But I feel a little better that we got somebody at least that has been there, has been experienced in this, has been in this offense. And I'm hoping that he can lock it down and give us some. Don't leave that motherfucker on the island. Don't leave him. Don't do no stupid stuff. Support him right away, unlike you did Amagaje.
Exactly.
Give him tight end support. Give him some running back chips. Let's do some things to set the tone. You know what I mean? Like, let's make sure that we are doing things that are smart. Like you said, Ivan, let's run the ball, man. Let's get the run game established. Let's be really stubborn on it, and then create our opportunities, because we do have 3 healthy receivers plus Cole Kmet, and let's use them. Let's not take Cole Kmet off the field, like, by no means necessary. To start this Gerald Everett stuff, man, like, you got to get him in the game. This is ridiculous.
Right. You know what? And every time Gerald Everett's in the game, I feel like it's a negative. Like, there's some type of negative happening, whether it's in the blocking game, whether it's in the pass. Regardless, I just feel like there's just something off. Like, Gerald Everett and Caleb Williams. I was going to say Kyler Gordon for some reason. And Caleb Williams just don't seem to ever be on the exact same page. And Gerald Everett doesn't seem to be on the exact same page when it comes to blocking as a tight end. So for me, Gerald Everett is, if we need to bring in another tight end at the goal line, that's not, Mercedes Lewis who could move, bring in Gerald Everett. If there's a 2 tight end situation that's not necessarily a blocking situation, okay, bring in Gerald Everett. But if this is how we're gonna, if this is what we're gonna be accustomed to seeing in his play, why would Cole Kmet not be out there continuously? Because this guy's not meeting up to the standard.
Yeah, absolutely right about that, man. It's just we got to be smart, man. It's just real simple, man. Go back, look at sometimes you got to go back in past games. Obviously, this is a different team. You scheme for that team, but what did you stand on? What was your identity? Go back to those wins. What were your identities? It wasn't that long ago. Like, what were you doing that was right? And you should have been building on that. You shouldn't have to go back and find it from a few games ago. You should have been building on that identity. But yet we go right back after the bye week and went back to some of the same shit. It looked like the same shit from the first few weeks.
100%. Yes, sir.
So let's see. I'm curious, man. Or it's either gonna be good. A loss is gonna be really bad. I mean, and let's go. I can't say that it's not a give me win, but a loss is going to be really bad. And it's now we're in a real, regardless of us coming back home, and I'm sure home cooking would feel good, but a loss is going to be really bad. This is an important victory for the Bears. This is almost like desperation victory at this point in the season, that they have to win this game. For playoff hopes, for people's jobs, particularly your head coach and your offensive coordinator, because those are 2 mid-season moves you can make. If things go bad, you can get rid, like you said, Eric Washington can move up. Shane Walter could be gone, and Thomas Brown could be really simple adjustments right there that you can make. Or your special teams coordinator could be the head coach, guys who kind of had been in that position to be leaderships or whatever, just to get through the season.
I think you'd have to do. I agree with you, Steve. I think there would be 2 firings if there would be any. It would be, in my eyes, it would be the offensive coordinator and the O-line coach gone.
Yeah,
and then Thomas Brown would step up as the OC. You'd find, somebody to replace the offensive line coach. And then at the end of the season, you would see Matt Eberflus part ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, like we just talked about, if he makes another bonehead decision that is very costly, I don't know, but I know the Bears, we're talking about the Bears. If anything, they're not going to do something like that. So it's the soap opera has begun, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it started last week. Instead of us at that point, think about where we were at, before the fatal Hail Mary.
Right.
It was about this team building. You weren't even really bringing Eberflus's name up in firing. It wasn't. You were just like, if anybody was like, okay, we're going to see how things go. But now we quickly the tables are turned to another breakdown of this, of the coaching staff. So it's crazy how the tables turn in our organization, where every week you were waking up on Sundays excited to see the progression of this team. This today is just like, are we going to survive? What I mean? It's a very weird feeling this morning, and I'm obviously anticipating the game. There's no doubt about it, and I want the Bears to win this motherfucker. I want them to come out and prove us all wrong. I want Eberflus to come coach his ass off. I want Shane Waldron to fucking call the fucking great plays, because at the end of the day, this is benefit of the players on this roster, and that's the most important thing. So, and they're continuing to get better each and every week. So we don't want a poor product of coaching not getting our guys better, because at the end of the day, Caleb Williams is going to be here well after Eberflus, well after Shane Waldron. So I don't want nobody fucking that up. And I want to see our guys continue to grow. And so I want to win, but I don't know what to expect today. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how to feel until the ball kicks off.
Well, I think this is a good time to go ahead and give the predictions and wrap things up, Steve, because I'm the same way. I chose the Bears this past Wednesday. I chose 23-20. The Bears defense keeps that under 21 streak going, but it gets close. And the Bears end up winning on a Cairo Santos field goal. I could see that happening. What do you feel about the game? What's your prediction on the game today?
And I'm really right here. I'm on the spot right now. How I feel. I had those feelings like this dude hasn't proved anything. I'm like with Shane. Like Shane called it last week. He's like, I can't give this guy any credit on the road because he hasn't shown it, and he continued. Then after that, he really didn't show it. If they're going to win this game, man, I know the coaching staff, and I said they got to step, but it's going to have to be the players. They're going to have to dig deep. They're going to have to dig deep and will this game, because I can't tell you what the coaches are going to bring to the table. So, man, I don't know, man. Hey, the hell with my record of picking the Bears this year. You know what I mean? The hell with that. That's out the window. I damn near picked them every game. Man, and I'm a believer. I'm a deep down inside, I'm a believer, man. We had a tough task right here now. Damn it. I feel like we ain't going to get too many of these where I'm picking the Bears to win over a team. So I'm going to go with the Bears. Because I'm not going to, other than the Patriots and then going into the regular season and the rest of the season, the divisional games, I don't really see me picking them a lot. So based on that, I'm picking the Bears based on I'm not going to probably have too many opportunities to say they're going to win. And I'm going to say the Bears are going to win today. And I'm going to say it's going to be the Bears 21. Bears 21. Cardinals 17. We hold them under 20. Somehow that Bears defense steps up, plays a fucking lights out game as far as keeping, willing with all the injuries. And the offense finds a way to put 3 points up on the board. 3 touchdowns on the board. Man, Howard. Howard has no belief, man. Telling you, it's really gut wrenching for me to pick the Bears. I don't have opportunity to call. I'm not going to have opportunity to pick these dudes. I'm not going to be able to pick these dudes besides next week going into divisional games, unless there's injuries to Green Bay and all that, I don't see myself really picking them a lot in the divisional games. So I'm going with the Bears.
Okay.
They ruined me today on this. I might pick the Patriots next week at home. Shit.
At the
I got the
tailgate,
Bears 21-17.
at the party, at the TTNL get together.
Yeah. I hate to come to the tailgate with the if these dudes fuck me over today, I will not pick them next week.
I will
unless everybody shows up, unless everybody's available next week. Brisker, Gordon, all of them come off the injury reserve, then I'll pick them. But okay, let's just focus on now. Bears 21-17 over the Cardinals. We get a tough one. Because of the players, Caleb Williams, they ball. The defense shows up. Guys make big turnovers. Kyler Murray shits the bed like he can do. He shits the bed today.
Yeah, I hope that Kyler Murray does not succeed in extending drives and continuing to, make things happen for the Cardinals. Chubbs 82, $5. Thanks, buddy. Will we know they aren't bringing Herbert because they? Well, we know they aren't bringing Herbert because they have Forrest Gump syndrome. And then Chubbs again, $5. I'm starting to think Herbert slept with Shane Waldron's wife or something. Yeah. Herbert he's on the trading block. If I'm not mistaken, they're letting him go seek a trade. They should have been seeking a trade since the beginning of training camp, in my eyes, Steve. Like there was no reason to keep him dangling and not active. So
they're not really using him. I think he's a valuable player. They love Homer. That's my brother right there. I want to see an offensive explosion, hopefully not an implosion. Yeah, I'm with you. Thanks, big bro, coming in. He's optimistic.
Yeah.
After the game, he's probably the most optimistic person I talk to when it regards to the Bears and everything. But Chubbs, I don't know. Herbert's gone, man.
Yeah.
I think Nate Davis is. Just depend. Well, the thing is, Jenkins it's not on. He's ready to go. I don't know. Jenkins is trying to stay his ass on that field like a motherfucker this year. He was bent over backwards. I thought his life was over on that bull crap offensive line dive with your boy Kramer. Did you not see Jenkins totally folded over backwards? I was like, it's over. Like both knees gone. Like ankle, he already had ankle. He already had a rib. I said, his life is he's done for he's supposedly playing, man. This dude is tough as nails, man. He knows he's up for a contract too. So that motherfucker is like, I've got to be on the field. He's pulling it all. I don't know what he's doing for recovery, but it's what he got. Scottish Bear. What'd you say? Yeah, he's still out there, man. Yeah. Hey, the things you would do for a contract year, the things you will, your body becomes a damn. Your body does miraculous things. Oh my goodness.
Chubbs once again before we wrap up. I understand Davis because he hasn't played well, but Herbert has done nothing but play well. And I agree, Chubbs, there's no argument here and there's no excuse here for not using Herbert. Like it's just it's a neglect of your offensive coordinator. It's a disrespect to the player from this coaching staff. The guy gave you his all while he was here. Has he been great on third down blocking? No, but does he deserve some type of playing time? I believe so, especially in running situations.
Yeah. I did, I was a component for Herbert. Like people were like, oh no, he needs to be gone and he's going to get cut. And I was one person who was like, he serves a purpose on this team. Like he serves a purpose where we need depth. And I just surprised that he had a good preseason. So I just was shocked that they kind of went away from him and they didn't use him. And obviously they had plans for Roshan Johnson, and he's kind of just in the doghouse. So it is what it is. But we move forward. We'll see how that kind of come to play this next week or trade deadline, and we'll see how it all shakes, man. One thing I don't want to see, if you see those little number one with his little choppy legs running around, we're in trouble. If you see him running for 30 yards with those little short little legs, and you know how he's choppy with he got the ball in one hand. If we see that shit happening for 20-yard scurries, it's not going to be a good day. So
no, sir.
Yeah, that little motherfucker get to chopping out. He get to chopping outside, boy. It's like shit.
We're in trouble. We're in trouble.
Yeah, we're in trouble, boy. So let's keep him contained. Offensive line. Let's protect Caleb. Let's call some shit down the field. Let's run the ball. Let's set up the play action. Let's take some shots. Let's get DJ down the field. What the fuck happened to that? Mm-hmm. What happened to getting DJ down the motherfucking field? Mm-hmm. Stretching the field. We just go away from shit. And let's get cold commit going. It sounds real easy, but like it just give them opportunities. Let the guy sling the ball and let's protect them. And let's see what it's all at the end of the day, guys. Let's get a victory. Let's get this bad taste. I hate that we feel shitty like that. Let's get this bad taste out of our mouth. Chubbs comes in again.
Johnson is backup running back from the movie Program. the program. We got you.
Yeah. That was a good one. You talking about the square dude?
You talking about Omar Epps? Not Omar Epps.
It's the dude that was real tucked up, and he was dating Holly Berry, and then Omar Epps came in and took.
Oh yeah.
They took his girlfriend, and the guy was like a square.
Yeah,
he was real robotic running. That's a good one, Chubbs. That motherfucker, he looks like him, and he runs robotic like him, like stiff. Man, your mind is going. Chubbs coming in with these $5 hollers, man. That last one is good, Chubbs.
That's
hey,
it.
Chubbs,
That's
man.
it, Chubbs. You hit
Chubbs, make sure you come on the Bear Down with Big Steve, man. You don't have to spend money, but I just want to hear you say some crazy shit like that. That's what I love.
Speaking of the Bear Down with Big Steve,
hopefully we're feeling joyful after this and Phil and Shayne are not going to fuck off afterwards. So we'll see what world we're in. I just have a feeling, regardless of the win, we're going to get something, right?
I would imagine
some disappointing shit. We'll see. We'll see. That's the beauty of it.
Speaking of the Bear Down with Big Steve, that's going to be on tomorrow, 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Make sure to check it out. Big Steve will be giving his reaction to the game. We'll be talking about it, breaking that stuff down. Thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate everybody that chimed in, and Chubbs with the $5 hollers, with the hilarious $5 hollers at the end of the show. We appreciate it. We appreciate everybody's comments. Hopefully the Bears, get the victory. Hopefully it's a blowout. I would love to see the Bears offense just click on all cylinders and they blow them out.
We will feel so much better about life if that happens.
Exactly.
It wouldn't be perfect yet, but it would make you feel a lot better.
Just a little bit better. So guys, thank you for joining us. I'm Ivan Vargas. That's Big Steve Edwards. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Tape Never Lies Network. Become a patron today at www.thetapeneverlies.com. Bear down. Hopefully the Bears can pull this one out. Kickoff is in about 7 minutes, so make sure you get your hot dogs, your Polish sausages, your beefs, whatever you got to do. Enjoy the game. We're out of here. Peace.